Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another review video. This time we are going to be looking at the F10 series portable projector. As you can see, this guy claims to be a wide HD 720p native projector, and we'll see that. And this is sort of how it looks. And it says, "Seeing is believing. Bring your life into the screen. Video and entertainment. Enjoy becomes easier." Let's see. So we have some specifications on the side here. This is, oh yeah, I almost forgot to say, a huge thanks to Vivibright for sending this in for review. Now they sent me a projector a little while ago. It was a 1080p model. This one is a considerably smaller and cheaper 720p model. So it's going to be, mid-range, I would say, in terms of capability, if the specifications are correct. If it does do native 720p, I find personally watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, 720p is more than enough. I can watch WVGA, so 854 by 480 content. It's watchable, but definitely I prefer 720p and above. So this will be useful. And let's see. So it does have a separate power brick, a 4 amp 19 volts, so that's pretty beefy. So we're going to have to see exactly what the brightness on this guy looks like. Just looking at the size of the box on this, it is considerably smaller than the 1080p projector that I recently reviewed. Anyway, I guess all there's left to do is pop this open. Okay, and we are greeted with the AC adapter first and foremost. It's very similar to a laptop style adapter. And I believe it said it's, 19 volts, 4 amps. So yeah, this is pretty beefy. Feels very solid though. Definitely should do the job at 4 amps. Anyway, next up we have the remote control. And this looks almost identical, as far as I can tell, to the 1080p version that I reviewed. Has your directional keys, menu select, source select, menu, power, volume, play, pause, etc., etc. So yeah, gonna have to grab some AAA batteries, it looks like. And we have the user manual here. Looks like this is just like kind of a quick start sort of thing. And we'll go through the actual features when we look at the unit in a second, which will be right now. So just pull it out. Very nicely packaged. I really like this sort of airbag sort of thing going on here. So it definitely is very well packaged. This is not going to suffer any damage in the mail. And it also has an inner liner to doubly protect it. And we're looking at it upside down. This is the actual projector itself. Vivibright branded. You have your IR sensor. Really nice that they include a lens cap. I notice a lot of cheaper projectors won't have that, and so if you put this in a box for storage or something, or even if you don't, it's liable to get dust or scratches on the lens. So it's really nice that they include this. Now we have a nice big lens, which will definitely help with brightness, and we have the Keystone Correction. So there's going to be some sort of lens inside that shifts up and down just a little bit to allow you to adjust it and make it square. On the bottom, nicely, we have a little kickstand to prop it up a little bit off the table. And this actually feels really robust too. It's not like cheap. It stays in the position you leave it in, and it definitely feels robust. We have little rubber feet to prevent it from sliding around. We actually have a tripod adapter, so you can mount this onto obviously a tripod. It's a screw mount, and that's actually really useful. You can set this up. You can see it's marked as a 720p theater. I always find that interesting. Apparently, we call them projectors, but I know a lot of other countries call them beamers. I just found that interesting. Anyway, this is LED based. So we're going to have to see how that compares to like a conventional lamp-based projector. It will likely be dimmer, but at the same point in time, this LED is going to outlive any lamp. That's kind of about it. We have some venting as well for cooling. And if we look at the top, very clean design. I like that. And it has this nice kind of smooth surface, and it rolls off on the edges. Makes it look a bit smaller. This is actually really small. It's about the size, the footprint of a small textbook. Here we have a couple buttons. Pretty much all the buttons. If you lose the remote on this, I hate when I see a projector with like a power button and that's it. So if you lose a remote, that makes the projector almost impossible to use. But in this case, you can see all the buttons, just about everything on the remote are replicated on the projector body. So we can select different sources, we can open the menu, we can navigate the menu, enter, go back, and power. So you can do everything on here. Just some of the shortcuts, like the volume, are missing, but I'm sure you can actually still access it from within the menu system. Anyway, in the back here we have a standard headphone out, which is always a good thing to have. The speakers on these projectors, they're adequate, but if you're really going for like a home theater type setup, you're going to want to hook up external speakers. So having this 3.5mm headphone jack output, you can plug that into any amp, any speaker system. It's super versatile, and it just always works. So definitely kudos on that. We have a second IR sensor on the back here. You can see just about there. So you can use the remote in any orientation, whether you're projecting rear screen or if it's overhead upside down on the ceiling. We'll have to see how range is with these IR sensors, but it's nice that they included two. We have two USB ports, which is rather nice actually. You can plug thumb drives in and play content off thumb drives because they're dirt cheap nowadays, so that'll be really cool to see. We have a standard full-size HDMI port, so I'm going to actually test this out plugging it into some game consoles and see how latency is and how this would work out as a semi small gaming setup, I guess you could say. And finally, we have the DC input, which just plugs right into the power brick. You can see here it's just a standard barrel adapter. So that's pretty much it on that side. On here, I believe this is just cooling. Maybe there's a speaker here actually, kind of hard to see, but we have a cooling vent here definitely. And on the other side, just I'm guessing a second speaker. I believe I read somewhere in the documentation this is stereo, so that would make sense having them fire on each side. So we'll see just how loud this gets. And just put the lens cap on. So we've pretty much gone through everything with the unboxing, so I guess all that's left is to fire this guy up, hook it up to some sources, run it through its paces, and see the image quality, image brightness. Okay, so sorry for the handheld nature of this video. It's just I'm using my tripod that I normally would use that you actually cannot see right now. And this guy is the Vivibright projector that we're reviewing. And so I have it set up on the tripod. I have it aimed at the screen. This is I think about 84, 85 inch diagonal. I'm projecting into most of it, so we're just going to turn this on. And it is booting up now. And you can see, it just goes straight into it. Now, it appears that in the video, for some reason, there's some kind of flickering. That doesn't actually show up in real life. I think it's due to the frame rate of my phone as it captures a video. Anyway, here you can see the Nintendo Switch home screen. And so I'm actually just going to fire up a game and see how it plays. Okay, take you guys a bit closer. This is a 720p projector, and the Switch actually renders at 720p. So you can just about see all of the tiny little pixels. The picture looks amazing. The colors are actually really vibrant. I like that. I don't think I had to adjust the color settings on this projector. Just right out of the box, it looks great. So the projected image here is probably about 60 inches. You can see there's a little bit in the corner that it's not projecting into. I could definitely back this up if I had enough room behind me and fill this entire screen easily. Anyway, I guess benchmark testing with Breath of the Wild. And let's just start. I don't want to update right now. So yeah, you can see there. You can fire up a game. I'll just continue from, I don't remember where I was. You can see here, I'm pointing the remote at the screen. I'm not even pointing at the projector, and it works. So that's definitely a good thing. So I'm gonna try to very unsuccessfully play one-handed. You can see here, looks pretty good. We're in kind of a foggy area, so maybe let's, I'm gonna actually put down the camera, get to an area with a bit more color and vibrancy so we can see exactly what we're doing, because I kind of can't play one-handed. So just give me a sec. Okay, so I left the dungeon. You could see, hopefully. Jesus, is hard playing one-handed with. Okay, so I traveled to an area that has lots of detail, and finally it turned daytime so you could actually see anything. Yeah, you can see the image quality here is really good. Yeah, that's definitely 720p. So yeah, you can see there. That looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, you can even see detail on the characters. So yeah, definitely the image quality is really good. There's something funny going on. I just noticed if you scroll really fast at the very top of the screen, looks like some kind of video. I don't know, some kind of latency or something, but that really only happens like if you scroll really fast. And I'm not sure, that could actually just be the switch, the video output on the switch dock. There's something funny going on there, but yeah, other than that, wow, that looks amazing. So anyway, we'll just exit out. Now this should be another very colorful game, so it'll be pretty neat seeing how this projector handles all the colors. But yeah, so far I'm very impressed for how small this projector is. It's not night here, clearly. Let me just turn down the audio just in case there's some copyright music and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, you can see here, there's some ambient light just coming through kind of the sides and the top because there's a window right behind me. It's slightly overcast today, so it's not that sunny. But even in a room that's, you know, not fully pitch dark, this looks really good in terms of the brightness. And one odd thing I just realized, if you have it on mute, does the mute symbol not go away? That is slightly annoying. If you have it on mute, the symbol doesn't actually go away. So just have to have the volume turned down a bit. There we go. So yeah, that looks fantastic. Let me just... There we go. There we go. And this looks really nice. Notice the interesting bokeh effect in this game. If you get too far off screen or above, it kind of blurs the image. That's not the projector, that's the game itself. Yeah, you can see everything looks fantastic in terms of the details. The colors are super vibrant. I love this game because it's so colorful and kind of cute. But anyway, yeah, everything works. And yeah, this looks fantastic. So I guess the next thing to kind of test would be, let's switch over to USB. I have a thumb drive plugged in with a couple images and whatnot. So I guess let's just do test images first. Here we have a couple. This is a 1080p test image, and this obviously is only a 720p projector, but even so, you could see the finest lines actually are distinct. Like, something funny going on there with the interlacing, but that's pretty much down to individual pixel sizes, so it's actually impressive that it could render that. Colors, of course, look fantastic. Let's just go over. Here's another test image. This one will generally show you how fine of a detail you can print down to. It starts getting blurrier. you'll notice at the smaller pixel pitches. But overall, this looks really nice. This image looks fantastic. Now, you might be able to see it's kind of darker over there. That's actually, if I get out of the way, there's actually shadow on my projector screen. It's not perfectly flat, so that's no fault of the projector itself. If I were projecting this on a perfectly flat wall, you would not get that artifact. But yeah, these colors really pop. I'm really liking that. So we can just back out. Let's check out some video files. I think we pretty much have to do my channel trailer. And this I can turn up the audio on. This is max volume. You can see it gets pretty loud. Honestly, not half bad. Sorry about me blocking the image partially. But yeah, this 1080p file looks really good. Definitely, I could very comfortably watch this. Now, given this is downscaling to 720p, but honestly, to my eyes, I don't really notice that big of a difference between 1080 and 720. My eyesight's not all that great now. So unless if I have glasses, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference at all. But yeah. We can go into the menu here. We can fast forward, rewind, all that good stuff. We can pause the video. Yeah. Yeah, all in all, I gotta say I'm actually pretty impressed with this projector, especially the price point. It's not, I think the price point's around 130, 150, something like that. So it's not that much more expensive than the low range models, which usually are around $100 somewhere. But those tend to be let me see, just start this video up. Those tend to be WVGA, so 854 by 480, so quite a bit lower resolution than this guy. And so for only about, 30 or so dollars more, getting a 720p projector is actually pretty impressive. Let's just zoom through. Let's see, you can skip through pretty fast actually. It just kind of toggles. Get to something interesting looking. So yeah, gotta say, definitely this would be a really good projector for movies. So this I can very comfortably sit and watch for, 2 hours or so, however long a feature-length film is nowadays. But yeah, and due to its small size, I could definitely see me throwing this in my backpack and like taking it over a friend's house who doesn't happen to have like a large TV or a projector. We could just project this on a wall. So definitely. I think here I'm talking about EL wire.
Just under $1.50 each, which is absolutely insane. The USB powered inverter, which generates a high voltage AC, necessary. Filament, probably spent like something like 25 cents on that.
Okay, how long am I going to take to get into firing it up? There we go. Wow. Look at that image. Get right in on it.
Here you go.
So yeah, pretty happy with that. The only thing that I've noticed is this mute symbol that doesn't go away. I wonder if this is a bug. It doesn't seem intentional. There would be no reason why you should have it blocking the image if you wanted it muted. But then again, I don't really watch videos muted, so I guess it's not that big of an issue, but it's just kind of a weird programming choice, I guess. It would be nice if they put the icon maybe up in the corner, one of the corners, just so it didn't block the screen. But that's sort of a nitpick on the user interface. We can just exit out of this video and get back here. So, I actually like this user interface, and this is the same interface that their F30 has, which is a 1080p model, which is much larger in terms of browsing the thumb drive. And it's nice that there are two USB drives as well, or ports, so you can plug in a hard disk and then a thumb drive. And so that's really nice. In the menu here, there's actually quite a bit of configurability in terms of adjusting. You can custom adjust. You can do presets or user adjustable values. You can see here, yeah, I didn't even set the color, and it looks great. So maybe a little bit of tweaking, and it'll look actually even better. So you can actually scale the image. Now, there's no optical zoom functionality, but you can actually adjust it. You can see it's getting slightly smaller very slowly. That's just a very slight, it looks like it only goes from 75 to 100%, and it's a very slight adjustment just to fill in the corners if you have a screen with a black border like mine and you want to fill it perfectly in. Let's see what else we got. We have picture modes for adjusting contrast, brightness, color, sharpness, etc., etc. I did not change any of these as well. This is pretty much me just firing up the projector and leaving the settings. Pretty much, I don't think I adjusted anything, and this looks great. So that's definitely good news. You can manually adjust the aspect ratio. Tend to just leave that on 16:9 because pretty much all videos nowadays are widescreen. Sound mode. Looks like we can adjust bass and treble. That's nice. And surround sound, I'm guessing that's for like external audio. As far as I know, this, I don't know if it has two speakers or one speaker on board, but because of how small the unit is and how close the speakers are, you're not going to get like super stereo sound from it. So if you are going to set this up as like a home entertainment sort of deal, I would highly suggest using external speakers via the auxiliary jack. You can actually flip this, which is really nice. If you want to mount it on the ceiling, or if you have a rear projection screen. I only have a front projection screen, and I usually put it on a table to project, so or a tripod. So that's not really that useful for me. And good thing is, it looks like it does have software updatability, so I'm actually interested to see what the manufacturer does in terms of adding functionality in the future. Beyond that, as I said, two USB ports and HDMI. I can just fire back up HDMI, and we're back in my game, which has dimmed because I haven't touched it in a while. So yeah, overall, I gotta say I'm really super impressed with this. I think this is actually one of the cases where I would suggest spending the extra, $50 or so and getting the 720p projector over a WVGA one. Just don't want to get a copyright flagged by Nintendo for the audio in the background. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I love this projector. I would say this is probably my favorite of all the projectors I've reviewed so far, just because of the balance of how small it is and how relatively inexpensive it is to the performance. Now, the F30 definitely has a higher resolution, and it is a little bit brighter. This is maybe, just looking at it, I'm guessing maybe like 65 to 70% of the brightness of the F30, its big brother. But at the same point in time, in terms of volume, you can fit two of these projectors inside of the F30, how large that one is. So I think this is the better value, honestly, in terms of portability, how much space it takes up, to performance, brightness, and resolution. And in terms of software features, it looks like they're about the same. I don't know if they're running the same firmware or the same chipset, but in terms of the features, the functionality, and the menu system, it looks identical to me. So anyway, yeah, if you guys are interested, I will be putting links down below to where you can check this guy out on their online store. And if you guys are interested in looking to buy a projector or maybe upgrade from a cheaper one, this is definitely one to look at. So anyway, I've rambled on for long enough, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.